Hello, I'm Liz Lumley from Finextra, and we're here at EBADay in Berlin. And today I'm speaking to Marcus Sehr of Deutsche Bank and Kevin Brown from RBS. Now, both of you just came off the panel with Patrick Dixon, who was the keynote at EBADay, and you both sort of had a strategic roundtable looking at the theme of the event, which is a borderless world for payments. And just give our audience a flavor of what you guys talked about. I'm going to start off with the question that Patrick asked, which is, what keeps you awake at night? So Marcus, I'm going to start with you.
Hi Liz, great for us being here. So what keeps us awake at night? I hope nothing, because we want to sleep at night so that we can solve our issues during the day. But the three themes which keep me awake during the day are really that there's a shift from the west to the east, so we have to see that we can expand the reach to our customers. The second is that we see an expansion of the global supply chain, meaning that the services we need to provide to more SMEs. And last but not least, there's more regulation at the horizon, and we just have to deal with that for ourselves, but also for our customers.
Yeah, more regulation and moving from west to east. That's big. Yeah. So Kevin, what keeps you awake?
Yeah, certainly. From my perspective, like Marcus, I like to sleep at night. But I think the key things for me, particularly around technology, both the resilience of our systems, but also the continued threat of cybercrime. Whether that's denial of service attacks or Trojan attacks, but also more fundamentally, just as part of the sort of current trends in the business, the pressure on margins, whether that's margins around payments, but also margins on trade. So again, it's very much about the continuation of the business that we do.
So I'm going to bring it into you told the story on stage a little bit about the IT outage that happened with NatWest and RBS, the retail bank, and there were a few sort of sympathetic tweets going on in the audience saying, oh, poor Kevin Brown had to tell this story. But you made a comment where when the outage happened, it took 8 seconds to trend on Twitter and took 30 minutes for it to appear in the national news. So, and you also said that short time frame kind of surprised you.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting. I think surprised it's highlighted the connectivity with social media and the visibility that now gets in terms of our industry more than anything else. So, whilst like most banks, we monitor Twitter. It's a very good way of picking up, if there are issues that customers are talking about that you can respond to as a bank. But particularly with that systems outage, it was 8:30 in the evening. We responded very quickly to fixing the problem, but to see it trend so quickly to the point where it was on national news 30 minutes later was I think just a reminder that we are now in a different environment from a bank perspective. And I'm interested. I mean, I've talked to a lot of colleagues around the globe, and some countries aren't in the same space yet, but they are starting to see the same sorts of pace and velocity of that type of visibility.
Yeah, I don't know what journalists would do without Twitter, actually. It would be very difficult to do our job. But I spoke with Marcus last month a little bit about this idea of relationship banking. Well, not so much relationship with customers, but collaboration among the large global players with the smaller banks. So I wanted to I'm sticking with you, Kevin, for this, because I wanted your take on it because Marcus said on stage that not every bank in the audience is going to be this huge global transaction banking player. So where do you see that road heading down with collaboration banking?
I guess sort of picking up on some of the comments I made on stage. I mean, the important thing is understanding what your customers want and understanding who your clients are. So if I look at it from an RBS perspective, we've got a very defined set of clients in terms of the international bank, and we are geared up to deliver services to those clients in the jurisdictions in which they operate. The challenge, I think, in the current environment is that there will be some instances where we might not have the full range of services for that client in that particular country, and therefore we all need to partner and use one of our preferred partners to support us. And I think as we look forward, I think you'll see a number of things happening in the marketplace as the cost of regulation of being in an individual country increases. You'll see more and more partnerships, very much focused on delivering value to the customer in terms of a proposition, but making sure that the service is interlocked. I mean, we actually we have a very integrated partner bank arrangement with one of the Dutch banks who we provide support for, and their clients operate their accounts in our network, but are fully serviced and supported by the Dutch parent, which is a great proposition for their clients, and clearly gives us advantages as well as a bank in terms of services that we provide.
Okay, so I've got my final question is from Marcus, but it's based on something you said on stage where you talked about, Patrick Dixon gave a speech about how as consumers we want everything to be very quick and very fast, and SEPA might not necessarily offer that. And where is the sort of faster payments for Europe, or where is SEPA for the globe, Marcus, and where is faster payments for the globe? Is there an option for that?
I think what we have seen, and also what Patrick showed us on stage, clients are looking for faster execution, and you can have variations on this. So for example, we have invested in something which we call the Asia Accelerator, which helps Asian banks, which are ahead of the time of the European time zone and clearly ahead of the American time zone, to do euro and dollar payments within their time zone, to make sure that when you send a transaction from Japan into, let's say, Australia, that you get it when both customers are awake. Yeah. That being said, for the European banks, they have with SEPA their foundation, and for them it's also then the question, how do they expand their footprint? The average European bank has done domestic payments in the past. Tomorrow they are doing SEPA domestic payments, which covers probably 80 to 95% of their payment volume, but then they have to find somebody who's helping them to get to the last mile, making a payment into Africa, making a payment into Asia, making a payment into the Americas.
Yeah, I was just going to say, just picking up on the faster payments, because I think this is probably going to be one of the next things Europe needs to address. We've seen it already taking off in terms of the work that's being done in Australia, Singapore. The US is looking at faster payments, and I think people's expectation is such that an instant payment method must be something that is on the horizon for Europe. And I think we see, we've clearly had the experience in the UK where I chair the scheme. The volume of payments now going through faster payments is significant. This coming bank holiday weekend in the UK will see many billions of payments go through the system over a weekend. And I think that's one of the things that, from a European perspective, once we've got SEPA bedded in, we need to start thinking about how do we then speed up the payments.